Update. Am I the asshole for changing the names of my babies? Original post here. My husband and I sat down with G and talked to her for a long time. We apologized to her, saying that if we wanted an open adoption, we needed to all work together. She told us, as many Redditors commented and as we also thought, that it wasn't her idea to push the name. She apparently chose the names to say goodbye for what could have possibly been, wrote them down in her diary, and her mother found it. We talked to her for a while about the implications of adoption and asked if that's really what she wants, and she agreed. She's not in the right place to have a baby, let alone two, and raising them would not be in anyone's best interest. She said she does not want to be a mother, but thinks that it's best for the twins to know her and she will visit occasionally, maybe once every 2 weeks or more often. G wants to be introduced to the twins as Yi Mo, lit. Means aunt, but is also a title used to refer to any girl 1 or 2 generation above you. We discussed our possibilities and agreed that her family being in the life of the twins was not good for their development. The main point of the initial post was the naming issue. H and I agreed that we were being inconsiderate and unintentionally harming the twins. As many adoptees have told us in the comments, they loved their names given to them by their bio parents. We thought that it was best to name them together, as we will be their parents, but G will still be a prominent figure in their lives. We have decided on the names Alice Eleanor, Alice because it's cute and classy, Eleanor to honor H's late sister, and Finn Alexander, Finn chosen by G because of a Star Wars character, Alexander because it was on both our top 5 names lists. Their Korean names will be decided by a naming expert after their birth, and we 3 will, again, choose the names together. After the first conversation with G about her decision to adopt, we 3 sat down with her parents and talked about our boundaries. They consider the babies to be shameful and would, quote, rather die than accept them as our own blood, therefore they will not be a part of their lives. They argued for a short while, but then agreed that it's for the best. When the babies are old enough to decide if they want to meet them, they can, but we don't think they would be a good influence at the time. For the people who asked about the bio dad, he also understands the implications of adoption and is okay with it. He does not wish to know the twins and doesn't want us to tell them who he is. Lastly, for the journalist who copied my story and pasted it onto her website, I do not mind if you share my story, but at least ask or even tell me first. If you want to take this story too, DM me first. And #X200B. Edit for all of the people telling me that naming experts don't exist and therefore I must be lying. I'm half Korean, my husband is Korean, the twins will grow up in Korea. Therefore we're following the Korean tradition to go to a person that happens to be called naming expert, and they pick out a list of about 20 names. It has to do with astrology, shamanism, name mixing, and many more things. It's a thing in many Asian countries, from my personal experience at least in Korea and Japan, and as other Redditors have commented also in India and China. Yay to proper communication, that's usually the key if all parties are fairly reasonable people. Glad you found a middle ground. Edit to say I love the name Eleanor. Excellent solution and congratulations. And that journalist is not a real journalist, she's a thief thriving on other people's stories. I hope she deleted it. WTF? As a woman that did an adoption like this, if you haven't already, please consult a mediator and draw up a visitation boundary that can be enforceable to the courts. I didn't, and I got cut out of the child's life within 6 months of the adoption finalizing. The flip side of that is, an hour or so every 2 weeks can easily turn into weekly, every other day, etc. You need to have firm enforceable boundaries in place. These things can get messy quick. Original post here, edit forgot to add. Glad to hear it all worked out and those names are absolutely beautiful. This is such a nice outcome. Really impressed that you took so much notice of the comments, and found a way of talking it through with G. Honestly, Alice and Finn have a very amazing ring to it. I understand it. I have a sister who is adopted. Bio mom, 17, signed the birth certificate and never held he baby once and left the hospital. My mom had made multiple sewing stuff made with the name Lacey. She was set on it. When she found out the baby was named, she was upset. Haley. Then she saw her. My mom forgot about that. That was her name. It didn't matter who gave her the name, that was her. Congrats on the babies. As a baby who was adopted from a Korea by a white family, I always was glad my parents kept my birth name, became my middle name, because it felt like a connection to my history. So nice to hear this worked out. I'm sure in the future your children will love to learn that their adopted parents and their biomom picked out the perfect names for them together. I wish you and your family all the best. Am I the asshole for lying about what I spend my money into? I, 20 female, have been working since I was 16 tutoring students. My family was always a little tight on money, but my mom, 40 female, always told me to use the money I made on myself and that she'd take care of all basic necessities. This never felt right for me, and so I always helped out anyways. This helps us a lot, but she always gets upset when I offer to pay for stuff. Sometimes I don't even tell her and just pay for things so she doesn't blow up. Last year I got a more stable job and also kept tutoring, so now I make a bit more. Since I got this job my mom started behaving weird. She polices everything I purchase. She also complains a lot more about how money is tight and how tired she is and how we struggle. She was always controlling, but lately it's got so much worse that I also started overanalyzing everything and became guilty every time I spent. I'm on my last year of uni and it's going well, but 2 jobs, school and helping with chores is pulling on my mental and physical health. I started seeing a therapist around 4 months ago and things got better. My mom got weird when I told her about it and said I didn't need it, but since I was paying for it she didn't have much of a say. Here's where the am I the asshole situation comes in. I collect postcards since I was a teen. It's a bit silly and I don't have many, but it gives me lots of joy. My mom was never approving on this, saying I was wasting money on cardboard, but I kept doing it since postcards aren't really expensive. After starting therapy, I wanted to buy a postcard box that brought a shit ton of many cool ones that I really wanted. It was like $16 in USD. I've never spent so much in my collection. When I told my mom, she was horrified. She didn't blue, but I realized she was holding it. She seemed disappointed and upset that I even brought it up. She had a long talk about how I should save for my therapy instead of spending in cardboard. I told her that I could afford it and it won't be such a big deal, but she said I should buy myself clothes or do my nails instead of buying cardboard to keep in my room. I was sad and it felt unfair, but it did made me back up from buying. I also felt guilty. But when she said I should do my nails instead, I thought that it wasn't about me saving for the doctor and more about me not spending in the cards. My therapist is now on maternity leave until December, so I won't be going for a while, and on top of that I have bit extra money RN. So I decided to buy the postcard box anyways. Now I started to feel anxious and guilty about it. I feel like this can cause my mom to blow up. Since I did participate in a giveaway but didn't win, I was thinking of telling her I did win it and not give further explanation. I know I should be upfront about how I spend my money since it's mine and it's not like I don't help around the house, but since it's something silly like the postcards it makes me feel stupid. I feel so guilty that I am worried of being an so, am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You are an adult making your own money, it is none of her business what you spend it on at all. Beyond that, spending money on hobbies and collections is a good thing. We all need joy in our lives, and it is not silly at all. Your mom is being judgmental for no reason here, don't let her get in your head. Not the asshole, you're 20 years old. Your mother has no right to dictate how you spend your money and you should buy whatever you need or want. Not the asshole if postcards interest you more than clothes or nails, buy postcards. Buying yourself clothes or getting your nails done would likely be more expensive than your postcard hobby anyway. Don't be ashamed of what you like, and you are an adult, your mother has no say over what you can buy, enjoy. If thou of fortune be bereft, and in thy store there be but left 2 loaves, sell one, and with the dole, buy hyacinths to feed thy soul. John Greenleaf Whittier. The postcards are your hyacinths. Your soul needs feeding. Not the asshole. Your mom has some serious control issues. It's your money. You are working. It was $16. Holy crap. $16. You need to consider the toxic dynamic of your relationship with her and how to break the cycle of her controlling you to the point where you feel the need to lie about spending a small amount of money on an innocent and inexpensive hobby. Best of luck and please stop beating yourself up. Not the asshole, it's your money, it's your business what you spend it on. If she needed you to contribute to bills and you lied, that would be different, but she's literally telling you to spend money on yourself. Just on different stuff for yourself. Your fun money is yours to do what's fun for you, not what she thinks should be fun for you. When she said I should do my nails instead, I thought that it wasn't about me saving for the doctor and more about me not spending in the cards. Yep. I know I should be upfront about how I spend my money since it's mine. Actually, it's the complete opposite. You don't have to explain what you spend your money on because it's yours. Stop talking to your mom about money except when it's necessary. Don't let her turn it into a debate because it isn't one. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. It sounds like mom wants you to spend money on things she thinks would bring you joy without realizing you are doing that already. Am I the asshole for refusing to host my boyfriend's friend after she told me he didn't love me? Last year, before the pandemic, my boyfriend, M19, took me, F17, to see their house in the USA, and I was beaming with joy from the invitation. The trip was amazing and he introduced me to his family and friends there. The most important one to this story is Lisa, F19, old friend and stuff. One day, the three of us were hanging out in his parents' house. For a moment he had to leave and Lisa and I were talking, until she said something like, "You know he's only with you because I denied dating him, right?" I was taken aback obviously, and she kept on saying that he was in love with her since they were child, and since she never felt the same, he decided to take me in as a filler but would never love me as much as he loved her. According to her, that is if he loved me at all, because he was all alone in another country. He was probably just desperate to connect with someone and I was the first one who stomped through his way. Not gonna say that it fucking hurt. Day went on. When we were set to sleep I commented on what Lisa told me and he got shocked and absolutely furious. He denied everything she had said and comforted me the best he could. The next day he called her almost yelling and just excluded her from the tour he had reserved for us. Before I left, I saw her once again because his parents invited her for dinner and she didn't lose a chance there as well and completed saying that if it wasn't true, he wouldn't have been so bothered. I said she was crazy. Well, for some weeks, his parents came to see how his life was in here, my country. But, he ended up having some issues with the house he was renting here. He said he was going to stay for some days with his parents in a hotel and I invited him and his parents to stay with me and my family so they wouldn't have to spend money. They were really thankful, but then he told me that Lisa was here as well. Turns out his parents invited her and another friend of his which had family in another state so they could catch up. I commented to him that I wasn't comfortable being around her for another week. Especially because I know that she might keep on saying stuff like that. He said that it wasn't a problem at all and asked the other friend if she could stay with his family instead. He accepted. But, on the next day, I received a whole bunch of angry texts from her calling me a bitch and all its synonyms. She said that I was just in denial and that I should accept the truth and ditch him before he came into reality that I was just a whore who wasn't worth his time. And said that once his change ends, he'll dump me and find some white girl who would be 100% better than me. Well, I don't really think I am the asshole. Especially because she was clearly racist. But my boyfriend's mother commented that it was actually unfair of me to separate them, since she came only to stay with his friend and now she is a state away. His father agreed. So, am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Sounds like your boyfriend mother and Lisa are in on it together, trying to break you two up and get him to go with Lisa instead. Really rude and awful behavior. Not the asshole. Your boyfriend's friend is, as you said, clearly racist. That alone makes her the sole asshole in this situation, and you shouldn't be expected to host a racist who has done nothing but berate you since you met her. Not the asshole, and I wonder why on earth your boyfriend was okay with her coming along. Do his parents know about how she's treated you? They should. If your boyfriend is still friends with her, I think you've got a bigger issue than just his parents thinking she should be allowed in your home. She can get a hotel or she can go home but shouldn't be allowed to set foot in your home. Not the asshole. I would show your boyfriend and his mother texts and ask his mother exactly why she thinks you should tolerate that kind of behavior and welcome it into your home. This post. A fire-breathing dragon burned my house down, ate my dog and was trying to kidnap me. I managed to drive it away with my spear. The dragon now claims emotional damage and is demanding an apology. Am I the asshole? Us. No? Not the asshole. You don't have to host the virulent hateful racist, and if that's a deal-breaker for your other guests so be it. Why is your boyfriend friends with a racist? Not the asshole. But I'm side-eyeing your boyfriend because it makes no sense that he would be okay with this, especially after knowing what she said. Not the asshole. Save these messages. Do not delete them. Show your BF. Hell, show your BF's parents what this so-called friend is saying to you. Also, is your boyfriend still in contact with Lisa? Is he still considering her a friend? Because if so, that's so disrespectful to you. Lisa clearly likes him and wants to date him, but she has an obstacle, you. That she is trying her best to get out of the way. Whoa, what the hell did I just read? Obviously you are not the asshole. Your boyfriend is mostly not the asshole, except I suspect he kept Lisa's visit a secret from you. His parents are a little bit the what are they up to? Do they know about Lisa's behavior? If they do, they are massive as. And Lisa. She is the type of girl who acts like she owns a man even if she doesn't want him. She will ruin your boyfriend's life unless he gives her the boot. Am I the asshole for not allowing someone else's religious altar inside my home? I have a very small friend group. We meet once a week for a game night. It's me, a couple, and 2 other men. I live alone with my son, the couple live together, and the 2 other men live by themselves. Outside of game night, I'm never really too social with them. I love my friends dearly and they know that, but socializing for long periods of time exhausts me and it takes a long time for me to recharge, especially having a toddler. I spend most of my time alone with my son aside when I'm doing things that pertain to my religious work. I'm a priest, and my friends know this. It's brought up on the occasion, but it never stays a topic of conversation because we all have different beliefs and we like to stay respectful. It's something I've devoted the majority of my life to. My son has a religious name, and I even wear religious jewelry on the daily. It's a part of my everyday routine, and in my home that's what it is because it's mine and my son's home. Recently the couple got evicted and had nowhere to go. I told them worse that happens is they stay with me for a little bit. Well, that's the case, they're staying with me. I don't mind their company as they're nice people, but I've given them a rule list, not religious, just cleaning and whatnot that I do. And explained that unless my son is about in the house and I'm with him, they probably won't see me because I like to keep to myself and will most likely be in my room. Everything was going fine until the conversation of religion was brought up. This couple, who we'll call Jack and Jill, both have 2 different points. Jill follows a different religion and I can respect that for them. Jack said Jill worshipped a specific deity and had altars for them just like I had religious altars all through my home. I congratulated them and said I would set up the balcony for them to have their space. It's a covered balcony and quite roomy, able to hold numerous people. It's a very safe place, protected from the weather as well. I was simply uncomfortable having it inside the home because my home had been devoted to my religion. They seemed to have issue with this because they said it felt unfair. And I was prioritizing my beliefs, and I am prioritizing mine. This is my home, I have temporarily invited them in. I still would like to try and be accommodating, however, because I know religion is important to others just as it is to me. My home, I practice my religion and serve my God daily freely and comfortably. As I talk about the practice in my home, Jack is quick to make me talk about something else by saying they don't believe any gods are worthy of worship, and that they don't like to be spoken of. Help? Am I wrong? What do I do? Edit. They do not have their own room and are staying in my living room with the 3 cats they've brought. I only have a 2-bedroom home for my son and I and have no guest bedroom. Edit again. Grammar. Pagan here. You're accommodating them better than I would expect to ever be accommodated in a situation like that. I really can't see that you've done anything wrong here. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your home, your rules. If they can't accept that, they can look for another house to stay at. Tell them you'll give their altars room inside if they'll dedicate a room in their future house to the deity you worship, since that was the one that gave them a roof over their head instead of theirs. As a borderline atheist, I definitely wouldn't allow guests to put any kind of religious altar in my home, it'd creep me out. Not the asshole. I'm a pagan and I wouldn't expect someone to want my altar in their home. I would be grateful to get a balcony space. You have the right to not want it in your home. It's your living space. Not the asshole. Your home, your rules. If they don't like, they can go elsewhere. Not the asshole. All these comments from people telling you how you should live or worship are disgusting. It is your home. You are doing them a huge favor and they are questioning how the favor is provided. You don't have to explain or justify your faith or lack of faith to anyone, especially people who are enjoying your largesse. Not the asshole. You aren't refusing him to practice his religion, you don't want an altar set up in your house. You offered a temporary place to stay and a place they can have their altar on your property, but outside the walls. I feel that's a fair compromise. They don't have to stay with you. Also, discussing your religion in your home is not allowed to be shut down. As I talk about the practice in my home, Jack is quick to make me talk about something else by saying they don't believe any gods are worthy of worship, and that they don't like to be spoken of. Jack's beliefs are not yours. You can speak as you wish in your home. Again, they don't have to stay there. Not the asshole. I'm honestly more concerned they think they will be staying long enough to warrant setting up a religious altar. Make sure you understand you local tenant laws so they don't get squatter rights. Not the asshole. Your house, your rules. You even agreed giving them the balcony for the altar, which is more than enough IMHO.